The true story behind America's most cherished holiday is far more complex and human than the legend, and it all began with a single, precarious feast. In the heart of Brazil, as summer's heat lingers and the days grow long, a special kind of magic begins to stir. It starts with a beat, a distant drum, a whistle, a burst of laughter echoing down a city street. The air grows thick with anticipation, and the people of Brazil, from the smallest villages to the sprawling cities, begin to prepare for a celebration that is both ancient and ever new. This is Carnival, a festival that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, where the world is invited to dance, sing, and forget its troubles, if only for a few days. The roots of Carnival reach deep into history, stretching back to the arrival of the Portuguese in the year 1500. The colonists brought with them the traditions of Europe: masked balls, parades, and feasts that marked the days before Lent. In Portugal, these celebrations were called Entrudo, a time of mischief and merrymaking, when people threw water and flour at each other, and the rules of daily life were turned upside down. But Brazil was a land of many peoples and many stories. The indigenous peoples had their own rituals, honoring the spirits of the land and the cycles of nature. Enslaved Africans, brought to Brazil in chains, carried with them the rhythms and dances of their homelands. Over centuries, these traditions mingled and merged, creating something entirely new, a festival that belonged to everyone, yet was like nothing else in the world. By the 18th century, Carnival in Brazil had begun to take on its own character. In the cities of Rio de Janeiro, Salvador, and Recife, the streets filled with music and color. People wore costumes and masks, danced in the squares, and paraded through the neighborhoods. The festival was a time when social boundaries faded, when rich and poor, black and white, young and old, could join together in celebration. In Rio de Janeiro, the city that would become the beating heart of Carnival, the festival grew with each passing year. By the late 19th century, Samba had arrived, a music born in the favelas, shaped by African rhythms and the longing of a people who had known both sorrow and joy. Samba was more than a dance. It was a way of life, a language of hope and resistance. The first Samba schools formed in the early 1900s, groups of neighbors and friends who gathered to practice their music and plan their parades. The year 1928 marked a turning point. That was when the first official Samba school parade took place in Rio, with groups like Deixa Falar leading the way. The parade was a riot of color and sound, drummers pounding out infectious rhythms, dancers swirling in feathers and sequins, singers belting out songs that told the stories of Brazil's past and dreams for its future. The people of Rio watched in awe, and a new tradition was born. As the decades passed, Carnival grew into a spectacle that captured the world's imagination. The Samba schools became the stars of the show, each one spending months preparing for their moment in the spotlight. Costumes were sewn by hand, floats built in secret warehouses, and songs composed to honor heroes, legends, and the struggles of everyday life. The competition was fierce, but the spirit was always one of joy and community. For the people of Brazil, Carnival is more than a party. It is a time to remember and to dream, to honor ancestors, and to celebrate survival. In the favelas, where life can be hard and uncertain, Carnival is a chance to shine. Children learn to dance before they can walk, their feet moving to the rhythms of the drums. Grandmothers sew costumes late into the night, their fingers nimble and sure. Fathers and sons build floats together, their laughter echoing through the narrow streets. The days leading up to Carnival are filled with excitement. Rehearsals stretch late into the night, the sound of music drifting through open windows. Markets bustle with shoppers searching for feathers, beads, and glitter. The city seems to hold its breath, waiting for the moment when Carnival will begin. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that bring history's greatest mysteries to life. And then, at last, it arrives. In Rio, the Sambadrome comes alive, a vast arena built for the parade. Its stands filled with thousands of cheering fans. The Samba schools take their turn, each one telling a story through music, dance, and spectacle. The drummers lead the way, their rhythms pulsing like a heartbeat. Dancers follow, their costumes sparkling under the lights. Singers raise their voices, and the crowd joins in, swept up in the magic of the moment. But Carnival is not just in the Sambadrome. It spills into every corner of the city. Street parties, called blocos, fill the neighborhoods with music and laughter. People of all ages join the parades, their faces painted, their spirits high. Strangers become friends, and for a few precious days, the city belongs to everyone. In Salvador, Carnival has its own flavor. The music is different axe, samba reggae, and the hypnotic rhythms of the drums. The parades wind through the historic streets, past churches and colonial mansions, the air thick with the scent of fried food and the sound of singing. In Recife and Olinda, the frevo dancers leap and spin, their umbrellas flashing in the sun. Carnival is a time of transformation. The shy become bold, the weary find new energy, and the city itself seems to shimmer with possibility. For some, it is a time to forget, to leave behind the worries of work, money, and daily life. For others, it is a time to remember to honor the ancestors who survived slavery, to celebrate the resilience of a people who have faced hardship with grace and joy. The history of Carnival is not without its shadows. There have been times when the festival was banned or restricted, when authorities feared its power to unite and inspire. But each time, the people found a way to keep the spirit alive through secret gatherings, whispered songs, and the quiet defiance of joy. In the modern era, Carnival has become a symbol of Brazil itself, a celebration of diversity, creativity, and the unbreakable spirit of its people. Each year, millions of visitors come from around the world to join the party, to dance in the streets, and to marvel at the spectacle. The festival brings together people of every background, every color, every story. But for those who call Brazil home, Carnival is something deeper. It is the sound of a drum in the night, the flash of a smile, the warmth of a hand in yours. It is the memory of childhood parades, the pride of a costume made by hand, the thrill of dancing until dawn. It is a reminder that, no matter how hard life may be, there is always a reason to celebrate. As the final parade winds its way through the city, as the last notes of samba fade into the night, the people of Brazil know that Carnival will return. The costumes will be packed away, the streets cleaned, and life will go on. But the memory of Carnival, the joy, the music, the sense of belonging will linger in every heart. So, the next time you hear the beat of a drum, see a burst of color, or feel the urge to dance, remember the story of Carnival in Brazil. Remember the centuries of history, the mingling of cultures, the triumph of joy over sorrow. Remember that history is not just made by kings and battles, but by the everyday magic of people coming together to celebrate life. Carnival is a living story, a dance that never ends, a song that belongs to everyone. If you enjoyed this journey into the heart of Carnival, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. There are more stories waiting to be told right here.